welcome to Think About It. I'm Sylvia Henderson, your host, and I invite you to tune in, take what you see and hear, and, well, think about it. Today, we're going to be talking about communication. Communication in a lot of different ways, but more importantly, how can we be really successful with communicating with other people? And I'm going to narrow it down even more to talk about communication in sales, but think about it. Hey, that's the name of the show. Think about it. We sell ourselves, we sell our ideas, we sell something every day, no matter what we do. And I'm not going to steal her thunder by saying any more about this. I have a communications expert, Gloria Cirulli, here. She's come all the way down here from a whole nother state to be here to talk with you today. So Gloria, welcome to Think About It.
Thank you, Sylvia. I'm so happy to be here. Thank you. I come all the way from the far land of New Jersey.
Yeah, I wasn't quite sure.
Yeah, I'm a native New Yorker.
Okay.
I was born and raised in New York, but I live in New Jersey now for quite some time.
I'm sure we'll pick up on that as we hear you
yes.
as we hear you say something.
Yes.
So the first thing that I always do in all my shows is, rather than do a whole formal introduction, tell us, how did you get to this point? You've got your own business, you're a communications expert.
Yes,
What's that short version of how you got to this point?
So really, communications has always been something that I was interested in. I don't want to necessarily say fascinated in, but I was very fortunate to grow up in a home where my parents really taught us very good communication skills, my sister and I, and really taught us how to zone in with people and care about people, and not just with, food. I come from a Jewish Italian home in the Bronx, so of course there was always food.
Oh my gosh, both Jewish and Italian, all righty.
So there was always food everywhere, plenty of it. But besides that, gifts and food and things like that, but my parents always taught us to really get to know people, and when you get to know them, you're not going to have to, guess what their favorite things are or what kind of gift to buy them. And that was just on the, simplistic level of like friendship and things like that.
Okay.
So it always was something that was like in me, and the way that I tried to approach speaking with people and communicating with people. And, over time I've just morphed different businesses. I've been a single mom for quite a while, so I wanted to be, I was entrepreneurial always, even as a child, but I sold Avon at 14 and under my mother's name, because that wasn't the right thing to do. You couldn't do that. When I became a single parent, especially, I wanted to be around as much as I could, so I really went off onto the entrepreneurial, way, so that I can work around their schedules and, set a good example, I guess. So.
No,
yeah.
that cute little selling things for your mom under your mom's name. That's the whole Girl Scout cookie world that I know of.
It is, yeah.
It's like send that little brownie out in their cute little uniform to make the sale.
Yeah. I've sold quite a lot in my life, and you hit the nail on the head when you said, even if you're not theoretically in sales, because I have clients that say, oh, I'm not in sales,
right.
And I really say to them, you have to, I always say chunk things down. It's sales, of course, are products and services, no doubt, products and services, 100%. But you go deeper than that, and it's really, you were saying it, it's an idea, it's a vision, it's a dream, it's a goal, it's an outcome. I really say it's whatever you want somebody to agree with you. Whenever you want somebody to come on your side of the track of thinking, you could play a little game with it even, and when that happens, hear cha-ching in your head if you want, as if a cash register rang that you sold something. But that's really the case. I mean, if you may want to go to Florida on vacation, and your significant other wants to go to California. Yes. And one of you is going to have to come on that other side of the thinking. And, in a way, that's, you're selling it. You're selling the idea. And, I have a client once said, well, maybe we could do both in one trip. I said, true, but you're still picking one place as the first destination. So ultimately, there's always a decision that needs to be made. And you also hit the nail so on the head when you say, the bottom line is you're always selling yourself. Whether we like to think that or not, if someone doesn't want to buy you, and that's the greatest compliment you can get from somebody, is they're buying you, So if someone doesn't want to buy you, they'll never buy, what you're selling. Product, service, dream, vision, it doesn't matter.
Interesting.
It really doesn't. I mean, I know for myself, there's been times that I've needed a product, And I've gone to that store and, you know, the salesman just didn't get me.
That's true.
You know, just wasn't a good salesperson for me. And I've left and I paid more money to get it somewhere else. And on the flip side, I've loved a salesperson and I've had 10 of something at home, it didn't matter. And there I go, trying off with the 11th, you know. So it is the communication and the connection that you make with people. And that's what, you know, again, it stems back from how my parents raised my sister and I, that connection that you make with people.
I hadn't thought about the personal end of things, but you're right. You are selling the...
It doesn't matter. It's communications, and hopefully communicating effectively, okay? But communication is at the core of every relationship that we have.
Wow.
And every decision that you make. So whether it's a personal relationship, a social relationship, or a professional relationship, it's communication, you know?
So I'm about getting ideas out of people's heads and out of their hearts and getting them to act on that.
Right.
And some of the action involves how do you persuade somebody else to support you, to finance you, whatever that support might be.
Right.
And communication is key with that.
Right.
I am effective in doing that because I have a system. I have a process for pulling that idea out.
Okay.
So you have a, I'll say unique, but may not be so unique anymore, I don't know. You have a process, a system for effective communication.
Yes.
Talk about that, because with your system, you can take it to the bank.
Yep, take it to the bank. So I am a communications expert, and that is my area, my wheelhouse. So I have my own systems, techniques, processes that I work with people, creating attention-grabbing elevator pitch, content, different ways, self-communicate, you know, self-talk is powerful, but I really was looking for something to round that out, you know, and I stumbled upon, or not really stumbled upon, but at eWomen Network Conference, not this past summer, the summer before, 2015, I had, you know, the opportunity to hear Sherry Tree, who's the founder of Bank Code, and it's a personality assessment and sales training program. And when I heard just the introduction, okay, for, you know, a couple hours, an hour and a half or so, I was so impressed by it that not only did I want to be trained in it to help my own business, but I was like, this is really something that is going to complement already my services. It really married well, so I opted to become certified and licensed as a trainer.
And you said bank code?
Bank Code.
Okay.
Yeah. And it has nothing to do with banking.
Okay.
Except, like you said, you're going to take it to the bank. If you use this, your business will definitely accelerate, and your personal life will accelerate. Your communication skills. It's sales. It's negotiation. It's communication, motivation, productivity. It all starts to rise.
Okay, so now it's like, what is this bank code? Because that's what we're going to be talking about for pretty much the rest of the show.
So bank code, bank is an acronym, and it stands for, B is blueprint. So it's a blueprint type of person, and then A is the action person, and N is the nurturing, and K is the knowledge. So it's an acronym, and it stands for the 4 personality types, and everyone is a combination of the 4 personality types.
So personality types, I mean, I know, coming from the corporate world, I've had personality assessments. Is it an assessment? Is it something?
Yeah, so it's literally I can teach anyone to crack the code of anyone that they're speaking to. Again, whether it's personal, social, professional, from 90 seconds to 3 minutes. There's a few different ways that I teach people. There's 3 different techniques that are available through the Bank Code system that enables me to teach people how to do that. So it's a very quick, simple, accurate process. It is scientifically proven. There's a white paper that's been published. San Francisco State University and UC Berkeley have independent studies that says bank predicts buying behavior.
Wow, say that fast, of course. Bank predicts buying behavior.
And basically it's decision-making behavior. You know, it's like I said, at the core of everything, we're always faced with decisions. You know, should we, shouldn't we? You know?
True.
So, yeah. So it really gets to the core of that. And it's values-based. So bank is values-based. Each personality type has their own set of unique values. You know, the blueprint has 12, they each have 12 sets of values. And it's amazing how in alignment it really is. Yeah.
So I'm going to assume that if you're, well, first of all, the point sounds like you're learning the personality of the person you're communicating with.
Exactly.
Not your own personality.
Right. So initially, you are learning your own personality because that's part of the process. You know, as I'm teaching you how to crack the codes of other people's personality, you're first learning what your own personality type is. Because, you know, again, no matter how good and nurturing we are, or, you know, knowledgeable, or whatever the case is, we're all fascinated by ourselves, you know, and for whatever the reasons are. Because honestly, you know, the more we know about ourselves, the better that we can, you know, really make our mark, you know, maybe make a difference, get what we want, whatever the reasoning is, okay? But we are fascinated by ourselves, and that's fine. We all are. And so you learn about your own personality first, which is really important, because it kind of really does, it starts, you know, it's the first light bulb that pops. And I say the first light bulb because then you kind of get, you know, oh yeah, that's why I, you know, never read an instruction manual, or that's why, you know, I need to have every single step before I'll take that leap, you know. And then the second light bulb, or the multiple light bulbs after that, is when you start to crack other people's codes.
Okay.
And that's really the key of this. This is an other focused, you know, program.
Okay,
so it's personality based, people focused, profit driven. So
so I gather then, because what stokes me may not stoke you, and I need to make sure that I'm communicating the way that you're stoked.
Yes. Yeah, and because there's 4 different personality types, it's not even, it's a simple system, but it's not simple to say that, you know, okay, you're just this, or, you know, you're one of the 4, you're a combination of the 4. So if you think about it that way, it really is almost like, you know, putting your code in for an ATM machine, and if you don't get it exactly right, guess what? You're not getting any money out of there.
That's a neat analogy.
Yeah.
So is there, and we've got about a minute or so before we take a break, so just kind of big picture, is this an assessment that I have to take for the next 15 minutes and come out with some kind of a code, or is this quick and easy?
Like I said, it's really quick and accurate, 90 seconds to 3 minutes, and the reason why it varies like that is for 2 reasons, I'd say. One is that there are 3 different ways that I can teach people how to crack the code. So based on the way, the method that you're using, it could take a little bit longer. And also, each personality type has their own way of doing it. And that in itself starts to tell me, you know, the longer, the quicker that it takes somebody. Already I'm starting to say, oh, okay. Yeah, I'm making some assumptions, but, you know, I'm kind of stacking that on a whole bunch of other things that I'm implementing to start cracking their code before they even really do it for me. So
and so this bank code sounds like it has 4 different, I don't know, categories to it.
4 different personality types.
And you use what to determine that? You use what kind of a tool?
One of the things that we use are the bank value cards. And again, they're blueprint, action, nurturing, and knowledge. And so that's one of the ways. So when I'm out networking, or I've done this on airplanes, I've coded whole sections of airplanes, restaurants, wherever I am, in conversation, I will just, you know, use the cards in conversation. And, you know, I say to somebody, could you do me a favor, take a look at the information, and they all have values on them, put them in order, what's most important to you to least important to you. And then, you know, this way I can help and support you better, and it saves us both some time. We're
going to take a look at that even more deeply in a second when we come right back.
Great.
I wish I was in school. If only I had a math test today. I'll stay after class. I'll clean the chalkboard. I wish I was in school.
School ends, but free lunches for your kids don't have to. Find your local food bank at feedingamerica.org/summer meals for help.
Hello, welcome back to Think About It. I'm still Sylvia Henderson, your host, and we are still talking about how to be effective communicators in many aspects of our lives, personally and professionally. And my guest is still Gloria Cirulli. So Gloria, we're back.
We're back. Great.
That's right. Not that we went anywhere.
No, we didn't.
I say this every time.
Quickly.
Viewers are going to say, oh, that's an old joke. So we, at the break, I said, let's go deeper into
Yeah.
this bank code. So go deeper into, or more deeply into, you've got 4 categories. You showed us 4 cards.
Right.
What's that all about?
So, like I said, when I'm out networking, if I have a vendor table, I'm serious. Airplane, supermarket, restaurant, I've done this at all places. And a lot of times I have lines of people that are vying to crack their code. So I say I teach people how to crack their the code of somebody else, but part of it is with the cards, so I'm actually asking the person to crack the code for me.
Okay.
And then if I'm networking and I have a business card, I write the code right on the card. And then it helps me hone right in on languaging for them. You know, how I should be addressing certain things, topics to avoid, or ways of speaking to avoid with them, or to focus on, you know. And again, even the way that I'm asking somebody to do it, I'm hitting all the 4 personality types. So no one really doesn't want to do it. And again, it's 90 seconds to 3 minutes. And some codes do it in 20 seconds. And some codes take, you know, the full 3 minutes or so. So it's not really timed, but that's an average. And it works. And I've had people say to me, oh my God, are you a fortune teller? Like, how did you, because then I will tell them what their code is and, you know, kind of explain. And then they start to guess, you know, who, oh, my child is this, oh, my husband must be this, or we do, you know, then they go further and, you know, if they're a spouse or business partner is there. And it really, like I said, the light bulbs, you see them start popping. It's like the rays of sun, you know, because people are saying, oh, now I get why, you know, this is how they deal with things, or, you know, this is why they say certain things, or why they handle a situation a certain way.
So what's on these cards then? I mean, so what is it on one little plastic card am I going to see on that card that helps you figure this out?
So each one has 12 values. So the blueprint has 12 distinct values to it, and the action has 12 distinct values, et cetera, et cetera. And for an example, I mean, I'll just give you, you know, a couple on the blueprint. So stability and responsibility, or, you know, processes, very important to a blueprint person. An action person, that's not on their card at all. You know, they're all about the opportunity, excitement, flexibility, things like that. And then the nurturing, you know, a couple of their values that they hold near and dear are relationships, authentic relationships. You know, making a difference more than $1.
Okay.
You know, and as I'm saying them, you're probably saying, oh yeah, I know somebody, I know somebody, I know somebody. And then the knowledge person is, you know, a learner. You know, they love the big picture of things, you know. So, and they act distinctly differently, and they make, the most important thing that I could stress is that they make decisions differently, buying decisions differently, what it's going to take to get them to that process. You know, and in all actuality, the truth of the matter is, you know, we can make sale after sale after sale, but from the time that it starts to the time that it finishes, if it's just, you know, a very long period of time, you know, then you really didn't make what you think you make. So, you know, time is money too. So if you can really get to the heart of how to communicate with somebody, you can, you know, close that length of sale cycle. You know, you can eliminate and say, and cut to the chase basically, and say, you know what, this person really is never going to buy, or they're never going to change their mind about something. So, you know, it's a time saver, which also equates to, you know, raising your bottom line, besides increasing your revenue anyway.
Okay,
So,
but don't you hear from people that, but I've got values on this card, I've got values on this card, and I know when I've taken these other assessments, I go, yeah, but I like systems and processes, and I like relationships, but I need some information, and I can cover all 4 of them.
And you can cover all 4. And like I said, we are a combination of all 4. Like I said, it's like that, you know, that ATM code, or whatever, you know, whatever you're trying to crack a code, you have to get it in the exact order.
Okay.
Because if not, you know, you are going to lose that person. You're going to lose that sale. You're going to lose that person even agreeing to go into the movie that you wanted them to go to. You know, it's even as simplistic as that, you know. So we are a combination of all 4, but when people look at these values, there are some that really instinctively resonate to the top.
Okay, so what
and
do you?
resonate to the bottom.
So what's your code?
So what am I code?
I'm going to put you on the spot because I'm going to tell you what I figured out for me.
Okay. What you thought I
So-
was?
No, no, no,
Oh,
no, no,
okay.
no, no.
All right.
Because I want to do an
Yeah.
example of,
Okay.
so what your code is
Right.
might be different from mine.
Oh yeah, definitely. So my code is, and I'm giving this away to all America
Uh-oh,
here, right? But I wanted you to guess, Sylvia.
Oh, see, I don't know them that
So you,
detailed
you
yet.
don't. So
I'm
my
thinking relationship is
Yeah.
way up front,
yeah.
and I don't
Yeah.
remember what color that is, but
Yeah, so the colors aren't, I mean,
Okay.
they're color coded, but we don't really go by the colors, it's the name.
Okay.
So I am a nurturing first, okay? I'm a very high nurturer, but I'm
Okay.
also a very high action. I'm pretty much tied. And there is a written assessment that when you do the training programs with me, it's a very brief written assessment. I don't even know how long it takes, but it's so short that it's not even, I mean, not that we don't time it, but it's not anything
Okay.
long. It's like 20, 25 questions, and you're scored, highest could be 25 in each category. So my nurturing and my action are very tied.
okay,
And
so I'm
then-
gonna hold
Yes.
on to the other two.
Okay.
Only because of timing.
Yes.
So if I noticed that my first was a Y, so that's the yellow. That was what? That was action.
That's nurturing.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay, that was nurturing too. And then my next one was a R, a red. So that
Right,
was.
that's action.
Oh, so we're the same.
The first two were the same, but I don't know about the last two.
Okay, I had
Yeah.
B for blueprint.
Okay.
And G for
K for knowledge.
knowledge. Well, it was
Right.
green color.
Right?
So.
Yeah, it's the letters, not the colors. So, and
So
I'm
how
the
does-
and I'm the opposite. So I'm
Okay.
knowledge and blueprint.
Okay, so
last.
how does that allow you then? So here's the example.
Yeah.
I'll put you on the spot. How does that allow you to communicate with me differently than how you might either receive information yourself
Right.
or communicate with somebody
Right.
else?
So the first two codes for us are the same.
Okay.
So that's very very high, and that's important. And also, actually, the last code is super important as well. And sometimes people, when they're doing the cards, they'll even just like fling the card, like they don't like that card. They're just repelled by that card, So. With knowing especially the first two codes, but now knowing all your codes, I definitely know what to avoid and what to
Okay.
focus on. So, there are just certain words that you're going to use when you're speaking, and I'm going to pick up on that. There's certain ways that each code greets each other, or greets people. That's very distinctive, and it's just innate, And
I would gather if a yellow was if a relationship is talking to I don't know, blueprint.
right.
You don't go up and hug them.
Correct. Correct. And you'll be surprised, you could be very in tune to somebody, but sometimes we're distracted. There's a crowd of people, and you're in a business situation, and somebody comes and they're very buttoned up and straight-laced, and they're extending their hand, and you lean in to give them a big hug, and they just they stiffen up
Okay.
even more, So it is very. These things are really, really very easy and obvious, and I say if you really listen, because that's part of communication too. I try to teach people communication is not just speaking and it's not just writing, although those are key. It's observing, it's listening, it's silence. I mean, it's even how someone is, their presentation is part of communication. Their appearance is part of communication. So all of these things, and when you start to, we say bankify things, when you start, and your mind just starts going that way all the time. And when you start to do that, people are giving you the solution to their pain point or to what they need or what they want or how they want to be treated and how they want to be spoken to. They really are, So it really is very easy, but it's just learning how to get very in tune to those different, because I'm going to speak very differently. I might say to somebody with nurturing, if you hold this near and dear to you. Now, I wouldn't say that to a blueprint person. I might say, if you're ready to take the next step.
Okay, so that's how it helps you. All right.
If this makes sense to you, is for a knowledge person. You see what I'm saying?
Great.
So, and it's very distinctive, and unfortunately, there are some professions that, they are trained a certain way, or they have, sales scripts.
Yeah.
And it's just easy for them to rely on that. But, the bottom line is if you're only communicating with your code, meaning the exact four,
Right.
the exact order of the four, you'll close that deal. You'll get that person to make that decision, all the time.
Wow.
But that's only 25% of what's out there.
Because there's 4 choices.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you're leaving
Primary.
75% of the business on the table, or 75% of the decisions never going your way. And I always say to people, when you're engaged with a potential client, okay, or, you know, again, because we're speaking sales at this particular point, but if you're engaged with a potential client and you don't get the sale, you really literally just handed a primed and ready to buy customer to your competition. So
Interesting.
how much is it costing you every time somebody says a no to you instead of a yes? It's not just that one sale. It could be residual income. It could be repeat business and referrals.
Wow.
Referrals are, you know, the best form.
And successful relationships.
Exactly.
So the bank code is a tool,
It's a
that
tool.
you use. You've written also about communication. Tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, so I'm a contributing author in a series of books, actually. This is the first one that I was in. It's called Breakthrough Results. And my chapter is called Communicate Your Way to Success, which is what my business goes by, is built on, Communicate Your Way to Success. And, you know, I touch on just the different ways that we communicate with people and really what the value is of that, you know, because the communication process really just doesn't even end when we walk away from each other. You know, I always say, you know, that first impression is golden,
Okay.
but how somebody feels when you walk away from them. You know, when that interaction is over,
Okay.
really, how does somebody feel? You know, did they feel that you understood them? Did they feel that you
Okay.
heard them? Did they feel that you got them? You know?
What's that adage about people remember how you make them feel?
Yeah. I don't know the exact.
Or
yeah.
something like they buy on what
Yeah.
they feel, but they justify it on what they
Right.
think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So communication really, it's residual. It really is. It's not just, you know, what's happening at that moment
Wow.
with somebody, you know.
So how do we get the book, and what do you do when you work with someone?
Right.
And it's time to tell us a little bit about your
Okay.
business and how we can find you.
Thank you. So, like I said, I'm a certified and licensed bank code trainer. So this is just the tip of the iceberg, the bank value cards. I have 3 techniques and 3 different ways that I train people to crack their codes. There's even a link that people can go and crack their codes, so they can do that right through my link, which is www.bankcode, so like the word bank and then code.com/Gloria and C, because that's my last name, Cirulli,
Okay.
so Gloria C. And they can click on that link, or put that link in,
Right.
and then do the assessment right online. And
Okay.
again, 90 seconds to 3 minutes, cursor or finger on their phone.
Wow.
And then they'll get a report sent to themselves, which is great. And it's not a lengthy report.
Cool.
Pages and pages, very simple. And I have a website. My website is gloriacirulli.com, and people can find me there. And I have about my own coaching programs as well as the bank training that I do.
Great. Gloria, my gosh, time always goes so
It
fast on
did.
this program.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for
Thank
being on the
you.
show and communicating about communicating
Thank you.
and helping us learn how to crack our bank code.
I love it because I just love to go into companies and organizations and do the trainings, and it's wonderful.
Great.
I love it.
And so, you go to the link that Gloria told you about, and that probably appears on the screen, and crack your bank code so that you can be a more effective communicator in business, in your profession, and with your relationships in life. I'm Sylvia Henderson. I am proud to be your host here on Think About It. I invite you to tune in, take what you see and hear, and, well, think about it. And until next time, make a great day.